Hello, this is the Insecure Penguin coming at you with a World of Warcraft PvP guide for Brewmaster monks. Just a quick explanation for why Brewmaster. My biggest thing about monks is I love the combat. I love the one-on-one combat, and Brewmasters just gives an amazing amount of survivability to keep yourself alive. Coming from, you know, Mista Pandaria, I played Warriors, which had amazing survivability, and that's just how I liked to play. Coming to Warlords of Draenor, I've been searching for a class to, just keep myself alive while dealing good amount of damage. I went through Death Knight, I went through Paladin, I went through Hunter, and my Warrior. But out of all of those, I think Brewmaster monks are by far the best, and this guide will explain why and kind of give you a little hint at how I have my character set up. Hopefully, you guys like to do the same thing. So let's go ahead and get started. Just with my setup right here, I have this pulled up right here. As you can see, I'm almost all the way fully geared, but not quite there at the same time. I'm using two one-handers as opposed to a two-hander. The reason being is you get more procs for your elusive brew, which, just increases your dodge per second per stack. So if you have 15 saved up, you get 45% dodge for 15 seconds. That will keep you alive when people are on you. So that's what I like doing. The two-hander does have better damage, better stats, but it doesn't quite get as many elusive brew procs as this one does. So that's why I went two one-handers. And then we'll kind of look at just the gear I have right now. We'll look at my stat priority. For my stat priority, I went ahead and stacked in this order. I went Mastery, Agility, Versatility, Haste, Multi-Strike, and Crit. The reason being Mastery just increases your stagger damage by an amazing amount, by the exact amount that it is, so I get an extra 10.2% of stagger damage. If you don't know what stagger damage is, it is fantastic. What it does is it just decreases the amount of damage you take up front, starting at 70% with no mastery. It reduces the damage you take up front, and the rest of the damage, the remaining 30%, and in my case 40% outside of PvP, will be shrugged off as bleed damage. So, and then we can then purify that, get rid of that. So it just decreases the damage you take if you know how to play. Mastery also increases your attack power, which is what we need as Brewmaster monks to deal some crazy damage. Versatility next, because versatility just keeps you alive longer, helps you deal the same amount of damage, almost the exact same way as Mastery, but it also increases the healing done to you. So while you have your guard up, if you have high versatility, you're going to get lots of heals, and it's going to just save your life, and that's good. Going on to Haste, Haste is helpful. It just increases your energy regeneration. If you don't have energy, you can't do your rotation, and you will die, and that's not good. So we want to make sure we have plenty of haste. And then multi-strike and crit both go hand in hand in giving you procs for your elusive brew. The only reason I'm putting them at the end of my list, the back of my list, is because I have two one-handers. So I'm already getting a lot of procs already, and I'd rather just be able to focus mastery and agility, and versatility mainly, and with a little bit of haste. So as you can see, I don't have my conquest neck neck, back, and rings, so therefore I don't have those, enchants just yet, but once I get them, you can almost guarantee to see, versatility and haste there. So we're going to go ahead and move on through talents. This is going to take me a very long time because I get really excited talking about monks, and I've tried almost every single one of these talents, if not all of them, actually all of them, yeah. So this I can give you, just my own opinion on all of them. So we're going to start at the 15 tier talents. So we have Clarity, reduces the cooldown of your roll and increases the charge by 1. So you get 3 rolls if you go Clarity. And it's just great because you have a reduced cooldown. That's good if you want to roll and get out of the way a whole lot. We also have Momentum. That's what I've ran for a long time. It increases your speed, and it stacks up to 2 times. Your speed increase does, so you'll go 50% faster if you use both your rolls within the time of your momentum cooldown. So that's really cool. And I like I said, I use that. I like the speed boost, but I actually just now switched to Tiger's Lust, and it increases your movement speed by 70% for 6 seconds and removes all roots and snares. That's the reason why I like it, because it gets us out of any sort of slowing effect or a root. So that would be, you know, chains of ice, entangling roots, anything like that that's just really annoying that keeps you off of your target. We can instantly get out of it and catch up. I also use it too when I'm being chased and I need to run away. I can just pop that, run 70% and just faster and just book it, you know, get out of there. So that's what I like. So we're gonna move on to level 30. Now level 30, I've used all of these as well. We have Chi Wave right here. It just makes a wave of energy that both deals damage and heals you, and it bounces off any, you know, friendly or enemy targets up to 7 times. So if you're fighting a one-on-one, you're gonna get quite a decent amount of health, around 14k health. In PvP, around 16k. Which is useful. And it also deals a small amount of damage. We also have Chi Burst. You go Super Saiyan and you shoot this ball of energy out, and it's really quite a spectacular to watch, but it doesn't help you that much. It does not heal you. It can heal teammates if you like, but it's not going to keep you alive. And it's going to deal around, you know, 13k damage in PvP. I've hit someone for 20k, got really excited, but then I had to wait 30 seconds for it to come back. So that's not really what I like to use. I like to use Zen Sphere, and it has a 10-second cooldown, so you can almost have it running at all times if you have it macroed correctly. And I have it with my guard. I will be showing you guys that in my next video right after this one, and you'll get to see how I use all of my macros and how I use all these abilities together. But it keeps a constant heal on you with a burst of health at the end. If you're about to die, it'll automatically trigger the burst of health, so that's really helpful. It'll keep you alive. For level 45 talents, we have Power Strikes. Every 15 seconds, anything that generates chi will generate an extra chi. So if I use my jab, I'll get two chi for the jab, you know, until the next 15 seconds when all that'll happen again. So it's pretty useful if you are always running low on chi. We have Chi Brew, which in my opinion is better than Power Strikes personally. Power Strikes is probably my least favorite. But what this does is you have 2 charges of Chi Brew. Each one has a minute recharge, so that's kind of a long recharge. But what it is each charge, or each brew, will give you 2 chi and 5 stacks of elusive brew. So that's good if you're trying to burst on someone, you want to get a lot of damage out real fast. Go ahead and take that, and then you'll have elusive brew waiting for you as well when you're about to get killed. So I mean that's good too. I personally go Ascension. It increases your maximum chi by 1, so now I can have 5 instead of 4. And your energy regeneration is increased by 15%, as well as your spirit. So if you're a healer, that's pretty good too. So you could be casting heals, and you know you have, you know, more powerful heals. But I'm not a healer, so I just enjoy the energy regeneration. Moving on to the level 60 talents, these are all of our utility CCs. These are going to be the most important CCs that you choose, in my opinion. First, we have Ring of Peace. It pretty much just puts a ring around you. Anybody who steps into it and they're trying to attack you will be incapacitated for 5 seconds, so that's pretty useful. If you're a healer, I would probably go that if I was running Mistweaver, but since I'm not, I didn't choose it. I have Charging Ox Wave. You shoot out, you know, this little ghost ox in front of you. He stuns everybody in his path for 30 yards for 3 seconds. My problem is I suck at aiming this one, so I end up just shooting it off somewhere useless, and then enemies just laugh at me. So I don't do that. I go ahead and use Leg Sweep because it knocks down everybody in front of you for 5 yards, and it stuns them for 5 seconds. So it's a longer stun. The cooldown, however, is 45 seconds as opposed to the 30 seconds on Ox Wave. So, you know, you could go either one on that, but I suck at aiming. So, you know, that's why I went Leg Sweep. Level 75. These are all of our... I want to say these talents are one of the most crucial that you'll choose because they really define what will keep you alive the longest as far as talents goes. I went ahead and chose Healing Elixirs. I'll read that one first. It heals you for 15% of your maximum health when hit by a damaging attack, and that happens to bring you below 35% health. So when you're pretty close to dying, it's gonna instantly heal you for 15% of your maximum health. So that's already pretty useful. And then we also have it saying, you know, whenever you drink a tea or a brew, or, you know, while you're injured, it'll also heal you, and it'll trigger that effect. And the effect can only happen once every 18 seconds, but it's passive. I'm lazy. I love passive abilities, so that's perfect for me. But so what we have there, so I could be hurt. I could throw up my guard, so I have increased healing, and I'll go over that and show you later, because you get a pretty beefy heal off this. You go ahead and use your Expel Harm, you know, with my macro that I have, where I take a brew, and you get this big beefy heal, and you can just heal yourself up super fast, and I'll show you guys how to do that. We have Dampen Harm, reduces damage taken for the next 3 attacks by 50%. Kind of useless because we already shrug off a ton of damage, so if you're still dying by melee, something's wrong. So, you know, I'll show you why that's not very good, again, in my next video that I'm about to do. Diffuse Magic, that's probably my second choice next to Healing Elixirs. It reduces magic damage taken by 90% and shoots those spells right at those casters that shot them at you. So they get a taste of their own medicine, those suckers. So that one's pretty cool. Now moving on to the 90 talents, I always go Invoke Shen, the White Tiger, just because he's freaking ridiculous. He just jumps out, kicks butt, he stays on the target better than I do, and he just wrecks. I've seen Shen destroy someone in Ashran when I had the artifact. He just destroyed an undergeared player just by himself. It was quite impressive. But so I always go Invoke Shen. It's great for bursting and great to just keep pressure on either the healer or DPS you're going for. Great to keep pressure, keep them on the defensive side. You know, Rushing Jade Wind, it just replaces your Spinning Crane kick. It's pretty useless for PvP. Doesn't deal that much damage. It actually, I don't even think it. Yeah, no, it deals almost double the damage of Spinning Crane kick. So nothing still. And then we have Chi Torpedo, which is good if you're a healer, because you can just, when you roll, you torpedo instead, and you go farther. And if you go through an enemy, you damage them, and if you go through a teammate, you heal them. So that's cool. And then the level 100 talents. We have we have 3 really good ones. So I've seen Brewmasters use all 3 of these. Not at the same time, of course, but you know, first we have Soul Dance. You're now able to shrug off spells. So now spells will be stagger damage. So that's pretty cool if you're getting destroyed by spells. We have Serenity. That's good for a burst. You know, if you're, what it does is it just makes it for the next 10 seconds. Your chi cost is instantly refilled. So if you are, you know, spending chi like a crazy person, just bursting, spamming Blackout Kick, pop Serenity when he's almost dead, and you will just bring him down. Blackout Kick isn't very strong for Brewmaster, so I don't really recommend this one. Maybe for Windwalkers with Rising Sun Kick, that might be what I would go for with Serenity. But even with Windwalkers, I mean, they have Hurricane Strike, which is crazy strong. But anyways, and then we have Chi Explosion, which is by far my favorite talent out of all of the Monk's talents. Chi Explosion, it consumes up to 4 Chi and 5 if you have Ascension. But up to 4 Chi to cause the target to explode with Chi energy. And so the amount of Chi you spend here defines how good this ability is, because it does replace Blackout Kick, so it replaces your main Chi dump. So that's you know, you got to make sure you're using this right. So 1 Chi, you get a really wimpy hit of 3k plus 3k for the Chi that you used. 2 Chi, you will go ahead and you'll gain Shuffle, and Shuffle increases your stagger damage by 10% and your parry by 10%. And it says for 2 seconds per Chi consumed. So say I spend 2 Chi, then I'm going to have stagger for 4, or I'm sorry, I'm going to have Shuffle for 4 seconds. So that's pretty useful. It keeps you alive longer. That's what you want, and it also deals more damage based on more Chi spent. So now I'm going to have 3,000 plus 2 more 3,000s because I spent 2 Chis. So that's already 9,000 damage. And this is outside of PvP. Going on to 3 Chi, you almost always want to be spending at least 3 Chi, because now it does the same amount of damage. It actually does increased damage and increased Shuffle because you're spending more Chi. But now it purifies all of your stagger damage. So I don't even need to touch my Purifying Brew at all, because now it's included as part of my burst. And it's the same amount of Chi cost as if I spent it on a Blackout Kick then Purifying Brew, only it does more damage, you gain Shuffle, and now you get rid of your stagger damage. So it's just good. And moving on to 4, it just increases the damage, and now it spreads to nearby targets for a reduced amount. And if you're running Ascension, like I said, you're just going to be doing even more damage and gaining more Shuffle. So that's just to your benefit to be running Ascension with Chi Explosion. You get some nasty damage out. Now, moving on to glyphs. I'm just going to run over the ones I have real fast. Pretty much all of the major glyphs are the only ones that really matter, at least in my opinion, for monks. Especially Brewmaster. So I use Glyph of Keg Smash, increases the range for Keg Smash by 5 yards. So now I have 10-yard range, which means I can actually hit my target, because nothing's more annoying than trying to Keg Smash your target to slow him down and to deal a big hit. Um, Nothing's more annoying than trying to get that out on your target and then having him be just out of range. So this just helps you out, it helps me out, I know that. So I like that. I have Glyph of Touch of Death. This is really useful, more useful in Arena than it is in Battlegrounds and Ashran. I'd normally switch that one out with Breath of Fire, which, you know, I'll explain that in a sec. But Touch of Death, it takes away the chi cost for your Touch of Death, meaning now you can just instantly cast it when they're below 10%, kills them. But now the cooldown is 3.5 minutes as opposed to 1.5 minutes. So you have quite a bit of a setback, more than double the cooldown, but you get to get it out, and if the opponent's dead, he's no longer a threat to you. So that's the way I see it. And then last but not least, I have Freedom Roll. What it does is every time you roll, if you're being snared or anything like that, it gets rid of your snare, and you're set. You know, you're good. You know, you can move back at your normal speed. So, and that's what I hate in PvP, is being slowed down, because I mainly play classes where I have to be up on my target. So being slowed down is always something that drives me nuts. So I use Glyph of Freedom Roll. And like I said, if I'm not in an arena, I'll normally switch out Touch of Death with Breath of Fire or Fortunate Spears. Breath of Fire, it just makes it so if you have Keg Smash on your target and then you use Breath of Fire, they're going to be incapacitated for 3 seconds. So it's a good CC, makes them just lose their crap. They have no idea what's going on, and it's fantastic to watch. And then we have Fortunate Spheres, and this is pretty much acts the same way as my healing elixirs when I'm below 25%? Yeah, 25%. It'll activate a healing sphere for no cost, and it'll heal me, but this only happens once every 30 seconds. So if you're being damaged really bad, this could come in handy, but Brewmasters already, when you're fighting, you're already dropping healing spheres, which keep you alive. And I'll show you my rotation. You'll see how often those drop, especially using 2 one-handers, because you're getting auto attacks out like crazy. So that's pretty much it right there. And then for my minors, I have all aesthetics. So I have Water Roll, Honor, where you bow after Touch of Death just to rub it in because you already killed him with a one-shot. And then Zen Flight, which is how I'm flying like a crazy man right here, and I love it. So anyways, that's pretty much the setup right here. In my next video, I will show you the rotation for both offensive and defensive playing, and then I'll show you some of my macros that help me out. And very cool. Hope to see you there.